I don't know when I'll be back again, leaving on a jet plane. I don't know when I'll be back again, leaving on a jet plane.
8:39 here, Big 550 KTRS. Pat Blassie with Altair Travel and Cruises. Good morning, Pat Blassie.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
We're doing great.
Hi, Pat.
We heard that you had a serendipitous moment yesterday.
Oh my God, McGraw and Kelly. You know, in life, we've all had them happen. This was, and it's travel related, so that's why I thought I would share it with you. I have clients that, two sets of clients that wanted to go to Washington, D.C. for, a cherry blossom visit and visit the city. And I was having trouble really finding, these people really like in-depth sightseeing. And anyway, through some research, I found the name of a guy and who's got his own guide service. So I called him and I introduced myself, and he, there was a pause, and he said, Pat Blassie. I said, yes. And he said, well, I think I know you. I said, well, I don't think so. And anyway, long story short, this man who now has this professional guide service in Washington is a former writer for the Washington Post he spent a year investigating Michael Blassie's entombment in the Unknown Soldier. Mm. Oh my God! This man had me on the phone for an hour. He said, "You know what? I haven't thought about this in such a long." He said, "I'm getting weepy just thinking about all the details." And he shared with me some details about this whole thing that just blew my mind.
Okay, so hold on a second. So for those who don't know, you had a nephew, right? It was a nephew?
It was by marriage. He was a cousin.
A cousin.
Yes.
Michael Blassie, who you knew and sort of...
Oh, yeah. He was younger, much younger than my husband and I. And so... this is when we were teenagers, and we would babysit him, and we would take him to the zoo and do, different things with him.
And he grew up, and he went to Vietnam, died, and unbeknownst to you at the time and the family, Richard Nixon picked him to be the tomb of the unknown soldier, and there was for years this question over, was it or not your cousin, Michael Blassie? And then in the mid-'90s, they did a DNA test, and it turned out that the tomb of the unknown soldier was your cousin.
It's incredible, but when you hear I heard things yesterday that I had no clue. Yeah. It was amazing.
And this was the reporter from the Washington Post who spent a year digging that story to finally bring it to light.
Right. And what's so interesting, McGraw, I tell you, he would be a great. Not to tell you what to do.
Yeah.
I would never do that.
No, never.
He would be a great guest on your show.
Sure.
Because you know what his background really is? Moscow. And he speaks Russian.
Oh, my goodness.
And, in fact, he said to me, he said, then he wanted to know really, tell me about you. And see, Michael Blassie had a sister named Pat Blassie, and that's where what confused him when I called.
Sure.
And anyway, he can do an in-depth behind-the-scenes trip to Moscow. Would you want to do that? I was thinking about it yesterday.
Not today, but maybe sometime in the future. Moscow's coming here. We don't have to go to Moscow.
Today I want to go to Freeport, Bahamas, where it's 81 degrees. I want to go to Jupiter, where it's going to be 82. Scottsdale's a little cool today. Palm Springs is a little cool. But, oh, my God, let's get out of town.
Yeah, no, that's a great story. I can't wait to hear more about it. But that's
amazing.
I'm telling you, I was like, I kept pinching myself. Is this really happening?
Yeah. But and now he runs a tour company out of Washington, D.C. to sort of give great in-depth tours of Washington, D.C.
He does great behind the scenes. He does, Well, he'll do anything you want. He'll customize your tour. whatever you want to see. Yeah, great resource for me.
Yeah, sounds. We got to take a trip to Washington, D.C.
That is serendipitous.
Yeah, that is a great story. I'm off to Scottsdale in March for a couple of days, so I don't care how cold it is today, but March 9th or 10th.
March is their prime time.
Yeah.
That should be beautiful then.
Yeah,
Good for you.
All right, cool.
Good for you.
All right, Pat Blassie. Well, there's a story and a half for you. You don't hear that story every day.
Well,
All right. Have a good day.
Have a great day.
Try and
Take care, Pat.
stay warm or cold.